The moment you realize you need someone to help you stand up from a chair, that is when aging truly begins. Not at 60, not at 70, that one quiet, humbling moment in your own living room, in front of your own children. Most of us are terrified of that moment. We just never say it out loud. But here is something that will change the way you think about your legs, your future, and what is actually possible for your body. The Japanese don't accept that story. In Japan, the country with the highest number of centenarians on Earth, older adults, in their 70s and 80s, still climb temple staircases, tend vegetable gardens, and walk to the market without a cane. The World Health Organization reports that in most Western nations, significant muscle loss begins around age 50. But in Japan, that trajectory bends differently. What do they know that we don't? Not a magic pill, not an expensive supplement. A method. 6 specific exercises, rooted in centuries of Japanese culture and confirmed by modern science, that protect leg strength and, with it, your independence well into old age. If they can do it, so can you. Let me show you exactly how. Before we begin, I want you to understand something as a geriatric health specialist. At ages 50 to 70, the goal is not big muscles. The goal is never becoming a burden to your children. Every exercise in this video serves one purpose: protecting your independence. Let's get started. Exercise 1. The resting squat. Kaizen position. Why it works. Think of your joints as gears. Gears that sit unused in a drawer eventually rust and seize. But gears that move daily, that bear load and release load, stay lubricated and precise. The deep squat is the most natural form of human rest. Every child does it instinctively before culture tells them to sit in a chair. When you hold a deep squat, you simultaneously activate the quadriceps, hamstrings, glutes, and core, without a single piece of equipment. Crucially, the position also pumps synovial fluid into the knee and hip joints, the body's own natural lubricant. This is not exercise as punishment. This is the body doing what it was designed to do. A study from the University of Tokyo found that adults over 70 who maintained a daily resting squat habit had leg strength comparable to people 20 years younger. 20 years. The Kaizen philosophy. Kaizen means small, daily improvement. You don't need to hold a full squat on day 1. You need to hold it for 5 seconds longer than yesterday. How to do it. Stand with feet shoulder-width apart. Hold a stable chair or countertop for support. Slowly lower yourself until your hips sink below your knees and your heels remain flat on the ground. Your spine should be neutral, not collapsed forward, not rigidly upright. Hold for 20 seconds. That is all. Common mistake: lifting the heels. The moment your heels rise, you transfer dangerous shear force onto the knees. Keep those heels planted. Safety for beginners. Joint pain. If your heels won't stay down, place a folded towel under them. If knee pain appears above a mild ache, stop and reduce your depth. You never need to force the range. Depth comes naturally over weeks. Do this 3-5 times daily. In just weeks, getting out of a chair will feel effortless because you've been training exactly that movement. But a 10-year Japanese longevity study says it cuts your risk of hip fracture in half. Stay with me. Exercise 2. Balance on one leg. Proprioception training. Why it works? Here is a question. Why do falls become so dangerous after 60? It is not just weakness. It is proprioception, your body's internal GPS system that tells your brain where your feet are in space. As we age, this system degrades and our reflexes slow. One misplaced step on a curb and a life changes. Balancing on one leg does something that squats and machines cannot. It forces hundreds of tiny stabilizing muscles in the ankle, knee, and hip to fire continuously. These are the same muscles that catch you when you stumble. The Japanese call this building the silent foundation, the strength you never see but always need. A landmark 10-year longitudinal study of elderly Japanese participants revealed that those who practiced daily single-leg balance reduced their risk of hip fractures by 60% and falls by 40%. And 80% reported feeling more confident moving through the world on their own. The Ikigai connection. Ikigai, your reason for being, requires you to show up. You cannot tend your garden, play with your grandchildren, or walk to your favorite tea house if a broken hip has confined you to bed. This exercise protects your Ikigai. How to do it? Stand near a wall or chair back. Shift your weight to one leg and gently lift the other foot just 1 inch off the floor. Fix your gaze on a single point at eye level. Keep shoulders relaxed. Hold for 10-15 seconds per side. 3 repetitions on each leg. The Japanese incorporate this into toothbrushing, waiting for the kettle, or standing in a queue. 2 minutes of daily practice, woven into life. Safety for beginners. Joint pain. Always practice with a wall within arm's reach. If you have knee replacement or a recent ankle injury, keep the toes of the raised foot lightly touching the floor as a ghost contact, and progress gradually from there. Next, we go back 1,400 years to a Japanese martial arts posture that a modern medical journal says increases leg strength by 24% in just 12 weeks. Exercise 3. Horse stance, Kibadachi, the rooted warrior. Why it works. Isometric exercises where the muscle contracts without the joint moving are among the safest and most effective tools in geriatric medicine. There is no impact, no repetitive grinding on cartilage, just pure, sustained muscle activation. The horse stance works the adductors, quadriceps, glutes, and core stabilizers simultaneously. It creates what physical therapists call functional compression, a controlled load that strengthens the exact muscles needed to rise from a seated position, climb stairs, and walk on uneven ground. The Journal of Physical Therapy Science published findings showing that elderly adults who practiced this posture regularly demonstrated a 24% increase in leg strength after just 12 weeks. No gym membership. No weights. A posture. The philosophy. In Japanese martial tradition, the horse stance represents ne-rootedness. The strength of a tree is not in its branches. It is in the roots you cannot see. This is the strength that keeps you standing when the world is unsteady. How to do it? Stand with feet 1.5 times shoulder width apart, toes pointed slightly outward. Bend the knees and sink your hips as though lowering onto an invisible chair, stopping when thighs are roughly parallel to the floor, or, as far as comfortable, spine straight, abdomen gently engaged. You should feel a slow, spreading burn in the thighs, not pain in the knees. Safety for beginners, joint pain. For acute knee problems, do not let the thighs descend below a 130-degree knee angle. Practice in front of a mirror to ensure your knees track over your second toe, not collapsing inward. Start with 10-15 seconds. Add 5 seconds every 3 days. That is Kaizen in action. The fourth technique is not what you'd call an exercise at all. It's a walk. But the way you walk determines everything about your balance for the rest of your life. Exercise 4. Sampa walking, the mindful step. Why it works. We walk thousands of steps a day on autopilot, and our bodies pay the price for that carelessness. Sampa, the slow meditative walking technique rooted in Zen culture, rewires the connection between your brain and your feet. It rebuilds what neuroscientists call neuromuscular control, the lightning-fast communication loop between your nervous system and your leg muscles. Studies with Japanese adults over 65 practicing Sampa for 3 months showed a 50% improvement in blood circulation in the lower extremities, a 40% reduction in falls, and a 50% increase in dynamic balance. Not by going to the gym, by walking slowly and paying attention. The Ikigai connection, the Japanese say, how you walk is how you live. Sampa is not just exercise. It is a daily practice of being present in your own body. That presence is what keeps you safe. How to do it? Find a hallway, a garden path, or a quiet room. Walk at 1/4 of your normal pace. As each foot meets the ground, feel the sequence deliberately. Heel first, then the middle arch, then the ball and toes. Breathe deeply every 3 steps. Practice for 3 minutes. The goal is not distance. The goal is awareness. Safety. For beginners, joint pain. Begin near a wall or handrail. As you progress, move to different surfaces. Carpet, tile, grass. Because varied surfaces challenge and rebuild proprioception most effectively. If you have neuropathy in the feet, this practice is especially valuable, but requires extra caution on unfamiliar terrain. Next is the exercise cardiologists call the second heart, and understanding why will completely change how you think about your calf muscles. Exercise 5. Heel raises, awakening the second heart. Why it works. Your heart pumps blood downward to your legs, but gravity makes returning that blood upward a genuine battle. That battle is won by your calf muscles. When the gastrocnemius and soleus contract, they squeeze the deep veins of the lower leg, pushing blood back toward the heart. Medical professionals call the calves the second heart. And after 60, this pumping function weakens precisely when it matters most. Weak calves mean poor circulation, swollen ankles, varicose veins, increased clotting risk, and critically reduced stability when walking on any surface that isn't perfectly flat. Every staircase, every sidewalk crack, every sloped driveway becomes a risk. The Kaizen approach: the Japanese do heel raises while waiting for the train, while standing at a kitchen counter, while holding a conversation. 2 minutes here, 2 minutes there. The calves are composed predominantly of slow-twitch muscle fibers built for endurance, not explosive effort. They respond to volume, not intensity. How to do it. Stand with feet shoulder-width apart, hands lightly resting on a wall or countertop for balance. Rise slowly onto the balls of your feet as high as you comfortably can. Hold at the top for 1 full second. Lower, slowly controlling the descent, is where much of the strength building happens. Perform 2 sets of 15 repetitions, progressing to 3 sets of 20. Safety for beginners. Joint pain. For those with Achilles tendon sensitivity, avoid the advanced variation of dropping the heel below the step level until a physiotherapist confirms it is safe. Never bounce. The movement must be fully controlled in both directions. Our final exercise is perhaps the most powerful. An isometric hold that one Japanese study linked to a 27% improvement in stair climbing ability in just 8 weeks. No equipment required. Exercise 6: Wall Squat, the silent teacher. Why it works. The wall squat is arguably the most time-efficient leg-strengthening exercise in existence. Because it is isometric, the body holds position without movement. It creates intense muscle activation without any joint impact at all. It is safe for people with mild arthritis, mild osteoporosis, and those recovering from joint procedures. A study of Japanese adults aged 65 to 75 found an average 14% increase in measured leg muscle strength after just 8 weeks of regular wall squats. More impressively, participants demonstrated a 27% improvement in the ability to climb stairs without pain or fatigue. That is the difference between needing to hold the railing and not needing it. The Japanese philosophy? In Japan, this exercise is sometimes incorporated into shugyo disciplined practice, because it demands that you remain calm and present while your muscles burn. The Japanese believe that learning to stay steady in the face of discomfort is the practice of healthy aging itself. The body and the mind trained as one. How to do it. Stand with your back flat against a wall, feet shoulder-width apart, approximately 12 inches from the base of the wall. Slide down until your knees form a 90-degree angle or as close as comfortable. Knees must stay aligned above the ankles, never jutting forward past the toes. Breathe normally. Hold for 15-20 seconds to start. Build to 60 seconds over several weeks. Safety for beginners. Joint pain. Do not descend to 90 degrees if you feel any sharp knee pain. A shallower angle, 120 or 130 degrees, is perfectly effective and far better than skipping the exercise. To add adductor work safely, place a folded pillow between the knees and gently squeeze throughout the hold. The miracle for the spine, the dead hang. This is not a leg exercise, but it has become one of the most practiced movements in Japan's longevity community over the past decade. And as your guide to whole-body independence, I would be doing you a disservice to leave it out. Spinal decompression. Every hour you sit or stand, gravity compresses your intervertebral discs. These discs are the shock absorbers between your vertebrae made predominantly of water, and under sustained compression, they slowly dehydrate and flatten. This is a primary driver of chronic lower back pain, reduced height with age, and the stiffness that makes mornings so difficult. When you hang passively from a bar, gravity reverses its role. The spine is gently elongated, the disc space is open, and synovial fluid flows back in rehydrating and restoring those discs. Regular practitioners report significant reductions in chronic back pain within weeks. Think of it as a daily reset for your spine. Grip strength and longevity. Here is a fact from the medical literature that surprises most people. Grip strength is one of the single strongest predictors of longevity and overall health in adults over 50. Stronger grip correlates with healthier heart function, better cognitive outcomes, and lower all-cause mortality. The dead hang directly trains every muscle in the forearm responsible for grip, without any equipment beyond a bar in a park or a doorframe mounted bar at home. Shoulder mobility. After 50, the range of motion in the shoulder joint diminishes quietly, until the day you cannot reach the top shelf, cannot fasten a clasp behind your back, cannot lift a grandchild comfortably. The dead hang gently and passively lengthens the shoulder capsule, restoring mobility that most people assume is simply lost to age. How to do it? Grip a stable horizontal bar with hands at or slightly wider than shoulder width, palms facing away. Lift your feet and let your body hang fully. Do not pull upward. Do not tense the shoulders. Let gravity do the work. Breathe slowly and deeply. Start with 5-10 seconds for 5 sets, with full rest between sets. Add 5 seconds each week. Safety: contraindicated for acute shoulder injuries, severe rotator cuff tears, or active cervical spine conditions. For everyone else, this is among the safest, most restorative things you can do for your body after 50. The Japanese practice it in the morning as a postural reset for the entire day ahead. Your 7-day independence training plan. Here is your complete weekly schedule: morning, midday, and evening. Each session takes less than 10 minutes. Do not skip. Small daily action is the entire philosophy. Monday and Thursday, Foundation Day. Tuesday and Friday, Strength Day. Wednesday and Saturday, Awareness Day. Sunday, Integration Day. Reflect. What felt easier than last Sunday? That is your Kaizen. Let me leave you with this. The Japanese do not exercise to look younger. They move because they understand that independence is the most precious thing a human being possesses. And it is not taken from us all at once. It is quietly surrendered: one skipped walk, one avoided staircase, one morning spent on the sofa instead of moving, at a time. These 6 exercises are not complicated. They require no gym, no equipment, no perfect conditions. They require only your commitment and the understanding that every single day you practice them, you are choosing not to be a burden. You are choosing to keep climbing your own staircases, walking to your own garden, living your own life. That is not a small thing. That is everything. If this video has value for you, please share it with someone you love who is between 50 and 70. Subscribe to join our community of people who refuse to surrender their independence. And if you are ready to go deeper, the next video waiting on your screen covers 6 isometric postures used exclusively by the Japanese to target the deepest muscle fibers in the body. Thank you for being here. God bless you, my friend. See you in the next video.